These are the final resting places of legendary athletes whose achievements helped shape the modern world of sports. Their graves can be found across the world, from small hometown cemeteries to some of the most famous memorial sites ever built. Some died tragically. Some lived long enough to witness their own legends grow. Yet decades later, fans still travel thousands of miles to honor these sporting icons. Jim Thorpe was born on May 28, 1887 in Oklahoma Territory. Widely considered one of the greatest athletes ever, Thorpe dominated football, baseball, basketball, and track and field. His victories in the pentathlon and decathlon at the 1912 Olympic Games established him as a global superstar. After his death from a heart attack in 1953 at age 64, he was buried in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. Today, visitors continue making the journey to honor a man many still consider the greatest all-around athlete in history. Jesse Owens was born on September 12, 1913 in Alabama. He became one of the most influential athletes of the 20th century after winning 4 gold medals at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. His victories challenged Adolf Hitler's theories of racial superiority and transformed him into a symbol of courage and excellence. After his death from lung cancer in 1980 at his age 66, Owens was buried at Oakwood Cemetery in Chicago. His grave remains a destination for sports fans and civil rights admirers alike. Babe Ruth was born on February 6, 1895 in Baltimore, Maryland. Known as the Sultan of Swat, Ruth transformed baseball forever with his incredible home run power and larger-than-life personality. After dying from throat cancer in 1948 at age 53, he was buried at Gate of Heaven Cemetery in New York. Fans regularly leave baseballs, flowers, and handwritten messages at his grave, honoring the player who became America's first true sports superstar. Lou Gehrig was born on June 19, 1903, in New York City. Nicknamed the Iron Horse, Gehrig played 2,130 consecutive games for the Yankees and became one of baseball's most respected figures. His emotional farewell speech remains one of the most moving moments in sports history. After his death from ALS in 1941 at age 37, he was buried at Kensico Cemetery in Valhalla, New York. Visitors continue paying tribute to a man remembered for courage as much as athletic greatness. Ty Cobb was born on December 18, 1886, in Georgia. One of baseball's most feared competitors, Cobb finished his career with a batting average that still stands as a major league record. His intensity made him both admired and controversial throughout his life. After his death in 1961 at age 74, he was buried at Rose Hill Cemetery in Georgia. Baseball historians frequently visit the resting place of one of the game's earliest legends. Honus Wagner was born on February 24, 1874 in Pennsylvania. Regarded as one of the greatest shortstops ever, Wagner dominated baseball during the early 20th century. Today, his baseball card is among the most valuable collectibles in the world. After his death in 1955 at age 81, he was buried at Jefferson Memorial Cemetery in Pennsylvania, where devoted fans still pay their respects. Walter Johnson was born on November 6, 1887 in Kansas. Known as the Big Train, Johnson overwhelmed hitters with one of the fastest pitches of his era. He won more than 400 games and became one of baseball's most dominant pitchers. Following his death in 1946 at age 59, he was buried at Rockville Cemetery in Maryland. His grave remains an important landmark for baseball enthusiasts. Cy Young was born on March 29, 1867 in Ohio. The pitching award bearing his name ensures his legacy remains alive every season. Young won an astonishing 511 games during his career, a record unlikely to ever be broken. After his death in 1955 at age 88, he was buried at Pioli Cemetery in Ohio. His final resting place continues attracting fans fascinated by baseball history. Jack Dempsey was born on June 24, 1895 in Colorado. Nicknamed the Manasseh Mauler, Dempsey became boxing's biggest attraction during the Roaring '20s. His aggressive fighting style and knockout power made him one of the most famous athletes on earth. After his death in 1983 at age 87, he was buried at Southampton Cemetery in New York. Boxing fans continue visiting his grave to honor one of the sport's first megastars. Jack Johnson was born on March 31, 1878 in Texas. He shattered racial barriers by becoming boxing's first black heavyweight champion. His success challenged social norms and changed sports history forever. After his death in a car accident in 1946 at age 68, he was buried at Graceland Cemetery in Chicago. Visitors continue honoring a man who changed sports history. Joe Louis was born on May 13, 1914 in Alabama. Known as the Brown Bomber, Louis dominated heavyweight boxing for more than a decade. His victories inspired millions during difficult times in American history. Following his death in 1981 at age 66, he was buried at Arlington National Cemetery. His grave remains one of the most respected athlete memorials in the United States. Sugar Ray Robinson was born on May 3, 1921 in Georgia. Often called the greatest boxer of all time, Robinson combined speed, power, and skill unlike any fighter before him. After his death in 1989 at age 67, he was buried at Inglewood Park Cemetery in California. Boxing historians still visit to pay tribute to the man many regard as the standard by which all fighters are measured. Knut Rockne was born on March 4, 1888 in Norway. After immigrating to America, he transformed Notre Dame football into a national powerhouse. His innovations helped the modern game. Following his death in a plane crash in 1931 at age 43, he was buried at Highland Cemetery in Indiana. Notre Dame fans continue making pilgrimages to honor their legendary coach. Red Grange was born on June 13, 1903 in Pennsylvania. Nicknamed the Galloping Ghost, Grange became football's first true superstar. His electrifying performances helped professional football gain legitimacy during its early years. After his death in 1991 at age 87, he was buried at Lake Forest Cemetery in Illinois. Football fans continue remembering the player who helped build the NFL. Bobby Jones was born on March 17, 1902 in Georgia. One of golf's greatest champions, Jones won 13 major championships before retiring at just 28 years old. He later helped create Augusta National and the Masters tournament. Following his death in 1971 at age 69, he was buried at Oakland Cemetery in Atlanta. Golf fans regularly visit to honor one of the sport's most influential figures. Ben Hogan was born on August 13, 1912 in Texas. Known for his relentless work ethic, Hogan overcame a devastating car accident and returned to win multiple major championships. After his death in 1997 at age 84, he was buried at Greenwood Memorial Park in Fort Worth. His grave attracts golfers who admire his determination and discipline. Paavo Nurmi was born on June 13, 1897 in Finland. Known as the Flying Finn, Nurmi won 9 Olympic gold medals and revolutionized distance running through scientific training methods. After his death in 1973 at age 76, he was buried in Helsinki. Runners from around the world continue celebrating one of the greatest endurance athletes ever. Johnny Weissmuller was born on June 2, 1904. Before becoming famous as Tarzan in Hollywood, he won 5 Olympic gold medals in swimming and set dozens of world records. After his death in 1984 at age 79, he was buried in Acapulco, Mexico. Visitors remember both his athletic and cinematic accomplishments. Ted Williams was born on August 30, 1918 in San Diego. Considered one of baseball's greatest hitters, Williams interrupted his career twice to serve as a military pilot. Even decades later, many believe he was the greatest pure hitter the game has ever seen. Fans continue honoring his legacy through memorials and museums dedicated to his remarkable career. Satchel Paige was born on July 7, 1906 in Alabama. One of the greatest pitchers ever, Paige spent years dominating the Negro Leagues before finally reaching Major League Baseball. After his death in 1982 at age 75, he was buried at Forest Hill Cemetery in Kansas City. Baseball fans continue visiting the grave of a man whose talent transcended generations. Roberto Clemente was born on August 18, 1934 in Puerto Rico. The Pittsburgh Pirates legend became famous for both his baseball excellence and humanitarian efforts. He died in a plane crash while delivering aid to earthquake victims in Nicaragua. Although his remains were never recovered, memorials across Puerto Rico and Pittsburgh continue attracting visitors inspired by his selflessness. These athletes competed in different eras, different sports, and under very different circumstances, yet all of them achieved something extraordinary. More than decades after their deaths, fans still visit their graves to honor their accomplishments and remember the legacies they left behind. It lives on through history, memories, and the people who continue telling their stories.